Alright fellas, we on the road. Now, originally if anyone's looking at this, I'm supposed to be creating levels that I took from some suggestions. I don't feel like doing that right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. So we're just gonna create a cool little level. I have a few ideas. So yeah, this took me a long time. Right now you can see I'm starting off with a flat surface. I always like doing that, and I'm making the tracking camera right now. So I like a specific angle. I don't want it to move around too much. I like when it's one like still angle, and it really fits the theme I'm going for. I do like sometimes when camera angles move around a bit, but for this one it fits better. And you can see on the bottom left, that was the original design I was going for. I was gonna make that room, but then I thought to myself, let me make it a cafe for some reason. So I did that, but the colors weren't matching. I don't know why I mixed the two together. It was a weird idea. So I started realizing that mid through, and then I realized it's not too late to stop. This is not going as planned, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was literally getting ready to give up, and I already wasted too much time, but luckily I found a better reference picture. They're not gonna work out unless they look like this. Tell me if I'm crazy, but this looks like a better alternative right now. And it's animated. Whew. Got a little of this thing. I honestly, because I was going for mixed like creations, it just wasn't working for me. I'm sorry. And I honestly like this one a whole lot better. So you're probably already thinking, that doesn't look like the thumbnail picture, and you're right. I didn't even end up using that picture for a reference, but I kind of got an idea of what I wanted to go for, and I used a different reference picture, which was basically what I'm going for here. I'm gonna put it for you guys so you can kind of remember and see what I was going for. But yeah, I just figured out basically what I really wanted to do, and it wasn't a bright build. It was more of a dark, gloomy, maybe rainy, maybe sunny build. You know, it was just whatever came together. So I finally found the floor I wanted, and it doesn't look like the one in the picture, but again, this is just a reference. I did kind of take a lot of inspiration out of it, but I wanted to kind of turn it into something that feels like it's from me as well. It's not just a copy of an image, which although it does look a lot like it, to be fair, I still feel like I put some of my creativity towards it, and that's really all I wanted to do. If I wanted to build my own coffee shop style, it would have probably taken me longer and probably a lot different, but yeah. Right now, I finished getting the floor I wanted, so I was working on the doorway, and I noticed the windows are not the same shape, so that was already weird to me, but I thought things like that kind of make it unique. It doesn't make it feel like it's just a, you know, kind of flat image, if that makes sense. It kind of feels like, you know, it's different. It's not, you know, too basic looking, if that makes sense. I don't know. But right now I'm making the door frame. I'm putting it with some sticker material. I like using those a lot better than actual materials because it doesn't kind of feel flat, and also like it doesn't look as weird, because sometimes materials don't look as good with lighting effects and certain things. So I feel like this gives it more depth. And I was making the shape for the windows as well. You guys might question my method of making things. I know it looks a lot like really weird right now, but trust me, it works. In the image there are some curtains, so I decided to make those next, and that was fairly easy. It was just kind of copy and paste a long line and then just kind of make it look like the image. These things are pretty easy to me, but I still like making them because, you know, there's certain ways you can make them. You can make them with materials, stickers, so it's always fun to kind of change up your style here and there. Again, I use stickers though, like mainly this whole build was of stickers, so it was laggy towards the end. You're gonna see that later on. But once I made the curtains and added that, I realized the wall doesn't look good in that color. Obviously it wouldn't work, and I was kind of hesitant to use a blue color because I was like, maybe it won't fit a coffee shop style, and I don't know how to really work that in other like furniture. Like if I made a table, what color would that be to complement the blue? But towards the end I think it worked. I realized just keep using brown. But yeah, I added the walls, and to be honest, I think that was kind of my the funnest part of making this build was the wall, because then I really got to envision it a lot better of how things are gonna look. And it's nice when things really come together slowly, and it kind of you kind of doubt yourself in the beginning because nothing's together yet. Everything's kind of just on its own and it looks really bad. But once you really start adding and adding, you start realizing it's good that you kept going and then then doubt yourself, because then it ends up looking as good as you thought it was going to look. So now you're going to see me working on the table. Now this table was fairly easy to make. I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated, but luckily sometimes the materials carry things, man. I swear, because I would not know how to make some of these things if it weren't for the textures that they allow us to have. So I'm thankful for that. I was experimenting with a few colors, if you could see, but I made the table fairly easy as well. Just made the, the kind of the surrounding part of the table and then the top. So that was pretty much it. Again, I used the same sticker style, and then I just kept going with that because I thought it was a unique, not a unique style, but it kind of gave it its style. Its character, because if I kept using different materials, I feel like sometimes you can lose yourself in that and just kept using different materials, and it makes it look kind of messy. I kind of like a clean look, but while also keeping it realistic. So I kind of mixed the two, and some people might say it doesn't look as good, but I personally like the style. So, and I added some of those I don't even know what they're called, the lines that go under the floor. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so the floor and the wall have this like separator thing, kind of, I don't know. But I added that, and then I added a little supporter on the shelf on top of the door, because well, it just looked kind of realistic. I didn't want to just have it hanging there. Plus it's cool. And I had to add some vines or something like that going down, like kind of just like, some green stuff. I added this sticker that I had glitched. A lot of these are gonna be glitched, kind of. Not really, not a lot of them, but some of them are. But I added some of it because it was the only one that actually looked good and felt like, like vines hanging down. So I added some of that, and I was trying to make it go kind of like slanting down, like from the supporter, but it didn't look good at first, so then I switched it around to add it on the supporter. It's kind of hard to explain if you don't play LittleBigPlanet, but basically I had to kind of fidget with it a little bit before it looked good. And then I added some more around, even though the original picture didn't have as much. I kind of feel like, some things don't look as good in game than, it's like, it's good on paper, but is it good in action, things like that. So I kind of had to add more just to make it look a little cleaner in the game. And I think I was trying to see if I want it to be nighttime or not. I was trying to see, because it looked pretty good when it was foggy at night, but then I'm like, I can't really see as much, so I was still kind of like hesitant on making it a rainy coffee shop. It was the main idea, but as I go on, I suddenly started making it like daytime somehow, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just keep it like that. But yeah, right now I'm adding this support beam on the wall, kind of just to not make it look kind of like too flat, like the wall, the coffee shop wall is blue, and then the concrete wall, I need kind of like a divider too, to make it look more like, I guess clean looking, not too weird. And right now I'm trying to make the wall blend in with the front facing wall, because in this game a lot of the textures kind of look weird from certain angles, so you kind of have to make it match. So it was kind of hard, but I kind of got it to a decent spot. I kind of fidget with it a little bit more later on too. Ignore if I'm saying some weird words right now, I'm like tired. But anyways, I added the black surroundings so that it looks like that style I'm going for that I showed you earlier. And then I realized I wanted to make the floor reflective. That was one of the main goals I had, and the level was, or the build was a little too low, so I brought it up. And then I kind of decided to start early on the reflection, and I knew it would be a risk because once I add more things to the build, I would have to duplicate it under in order to make it look reflective. And that's basically the trick a lot of game creators use. They basically duplicate the level, or I guess the scenery they're using, or room, whatever you want to call it, and they just duplicate it and flip it. Like, it's basically to make it look reflective. I think that's the only way they really could back in the day. And since we're working with really kind of, I guess you could say, old technology, but it seems pretty modern. Anyways, I just did that trick, and I was gonna see how it looks if it's ready to be duplicated. And honestly, from the look of it, I thought it was ready. I'm like, you know what? looks good to me. If I gotta add some, I'll add it twice. But I will say that's one of the things I did early on that I ended up regretting, and that's duplicating it that early, because man, adding everything under like in the exact spot did get pretty annoying, I will admit. Sometimes it was easy. I mean, it was literally just copy, flip, you know, things like that. But sometimes you just can't really navigate it right because you have so many things in the way. And I wish I realized earlier that the game has a feature where you can select specific layers you want to view, not just all layers like at once. Man, if I knew that sooner, it would have saved me so much time. But you know, you learn something every day, I guess. But yeah, so I basically duplicated the floor and it's looking pretty good actually. You know, I thought it was a big step in the right direction. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was basically not only doing this to like get me motivated to keep creating, because if I don't see progress, like if I just focus on the room alone and I don't see my main vision, I kind of get demotivated. So I wanted to kind of hurry up on that part and just see what it looked like, and I just stuck with it. But yeah, it was looking pretty good, and I took a couple pictures of it and posted it on Discord and everything like that to get some people's thoughts, and a lot of people liked it already, and that was before it was even complete. So that really boosted my energy, because I was like, man, like if they like this, I can't imagine what they're gonna think when it's finished. And yeah, I thought it was really good when it's done. You guys are, I think, really gonna like the end result. Now, for most of this part, I was kind of stalling. I don't know why. I was taking so long to move on, and that's a big flaw I have, is that I never keep moving on. I just always like stand there. Look at me, I'm just standing there doing nothing. But it did end up becoming a different thing, because someone in the chat, now a cool friend that I know, he helped me set up my online account on RPCS3, so that was really cool. And then he was just showing me a step-by-step process. If you want, I could show you like how it's done in a different video, but for now I'll just kind of skim through this part. But I basically ended up having online, which helped me a lot with the build, because I got some cool features or stickers that I wouldn't be able to use if it weren't for him. So big shout out to him. I'm actually link his channel in the description, so you guys can go check him out. I think it worked though. I'm not getting a message. Whoa! 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 Simmer down, everybody. Simmer down. Hold on now. Hold on now. Hold on now. Whoa! What? Dude? What? You're telling me I can actually do this now? So yeah, this is getting off topic really fast, but I'm just trying to show this off really quick. But I basically got to play online, so if you guys want to see me do some levels that you guys made on the Bonsai server, let me know. I'll play any level you guys make. I like playing any level. I just enjoy playing LittleBigPlanet in general, so if you guys want me to play anything specific, let me know. But yeah, I basically got online now, but let's go back to the build. So yeah, basically I wanted to focus on the outside now, because the surrounding looked good. I mean, the inside's kind of like getting its you know, style. It's kind of becoming itself, if that makes sense. And then when I was creating the outside, I had this sticker of a backdrop basically, but turned into like a 3D ad set. I don't know, something like that. And I was gonna use it, and I didn't like the way it looked, and that's because I was trying to make it too 3D. Little did I know, if I make it flat, it will actually look as good, which I ended up doing later on in the build. I went back to that sticker. But right now I'm adding the floor. I'm trying to see how many layers I got to work with, and it wasn't that many as I wanted, and I kind of didn't like that, because I wanted to add buildings originally. But I'm like thinking, if I'm gonna add buildings, I need to add streets, you know, a sidewalk. Then the buildings, it's just too many layers, and it wouldn't look good with this type of dimension I'm going with. And if I try to work with it, it will kind of be hard. So I wanted to kind of simplify it. So right now I'm doing the atmosphere and trying to see what works, because the style I was going for was kind of gloomy, rainy. But I think later on I fell more in love with this style, which is kind of like bright yellowish, and it just accidentally ended up becoming the color but it just would fit well with the cafe. I mean, this white doesn't make it, like, really doesn't pop the cafe as much when it's white. I think it's better with a yellow tone to show, like, you know. But yeah, I was gonna work on the background. I think right now I'm adding the sidewalk, quote unquote, or I guess was the sidewalk, but then I don't know, it ended up becoming some other thing. I used a wooden sticker I had that I made later on in the build, but I'm trying to make the layout basically. I'm trying to see what looks right, what height fits it better. It was actually a little bit annoying to work on because you can't see the background as much because everything's covering it. So again, if I knew about the layer system, but I tried using that sticker. That sticker was awful. I didn't like it at all, but it was a good attempt. And I had other stickers to work with that were like grassy layers, you know, like just something that made it feel like nature outside with like buildings, but it wasn't gonna work with the layer system. So I think it was better to go with what I went, which was the forest kind of thing. Like it's like a forest in the background, but you got like a kind of entry to the cafe. It turned out pretty cool, and it works, you know. I wanted something that feels like, okay, this is gonna be outside for sure. Like it looks outside. I don't like making a background that doesn't feel like it's there, you know. I don't like to make it obvious that that's the end of the layer system. So yeah, again, I'm working with the atmosphere a little bit, trying to match the cafe style. I only chose white also mainly because it helped me see things better, but later on, since I was already pretty halfway through, I realized I don't really need it to be that. I had that sticker from one of my older levels, and at first I did kind of like it. I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't like the duplication effect it was going with, where it was like kind of just like flipped on each time it ended. And I mean, it looked okay, but it just wasn't giving the amount of 3D or depth I wanted. But I stuck with it for a while just so I can get a better idea, because at least it was something, you know, it was a step forward. But later on, yeah, I ended up scrapping that idea of the stickers, and I never do like the stickers anyways. Whenever you're adjusting camera angles or anything like that, it always looks weird around the edges of certain materials. So I'm glad I didn't go with that. I like using stickers that are like, you know, like actual sticker. Like this is a bush, or I guess that's a tree actually, and I try to use that, but it was so dark, and like it would, and you see right there, the background would make the bush outline weird. Like it would, like, or the trees, it would make the trees have this weird outline, like the layers were weird. So right now I try to see if I can add some depth with the layer that I ended up using. And I don't know why it took me so long to realize how good it was of a sticker. I'm happy that I figured it out though. But yeah, I mean, adding some trees and things like that is always good, but it doesn't match the green from the background, so that's what gets hard during the end. And here I'm trying to add grass. I'm telling you, this was a mess of a process, dude. Like, I'm adding all sorts of things. They're not working together. The background, the grass, the sidewalk, it's awful. I'm telling you, this was making me so angry because I literally had a good looking cafe so far, but the damn background wasn't coming in. I'm like, it's just so annoying because, like, if it's not one thing, then the other one's gonna be bad. And it's like, I want everything to just match, you know? So it's hard to find that style you're looking for. And then having limited layers does get pretty, I mean, it's pretty hard, but you know. But I tried some lighting to make it look like it's daytime outside, because the materials were just looking like gloomy, dark. It was like not bright enough. I'm like, no, it's not gonna work like that. So adding lighting effects, making it look like the sun's hitting the floor at least. I mean, it looked better later on once I switched the materials, and the concrete wasn't doing it justice. Here's when I found the orangey style. I liked it a lot. I was like, this actually looks right, but the background doesn't. And I mean, it's coming together, you would think, but you can't even see the white sidewalk, and I already changed the color to white, and I couldn't really find like the layer to fix it, so I had to work with that. So I gave up and just worked on the windows next, because I was like, you know what, I'm wasting too much time on it. Let me first focus on little details too that might help me imagine this a little better. So here come the windows. I added it was a simple effect, just stickers, and then I just added that a tape that make it look like it's like reflective. It's always a cool little detail, but honestly, you can barely notice it once the level's finished. But it's like little details like that that make things come together. So I'm not gonna say it's like a bad detail I added, but I think right now I'm making a sidewalk effect, or I think I was just experimenting with sticker tools. Not sure why I was doing this because it did not even work out. But I'm waiting for the part where I add the background finally, because that's when I finally clicked and knew what to do. And when I figured out what to do, dude, I cooked. I'm telling you. Right now I'm trying to add some grass effects and trees, so I put them on a flat sticker panel, so I can yeah, there we go, so I can try to move them separately, and then I try to position them places that might like fill out the gaps that look weird, or like I just don't like. And then that grass texture I liked, but it looked not realistic. It looked a little cartoonish, but I liked that it had detail. And then any other grass texture I chose just ended up looking white because of the lighting effect. So I don't know if it was the lighting effect that was weird or the grass texture was weird. Dude, it's so annoying. I mean, I don't know how people sometimes manage to create such amazing levels without having to deal with this. And maybe they do. Like, for example, I'm putting a green material right now, but it doesn't show as green. It's like white. I don't know why. And I was so confused. So I was like, this can't be me. And that one showed up as green. So I'm like, okay, maybe something could cook here. That's when I finally found a good grass texture. I'm like, okay, it matches at least the outside. I can work with this. Like, that's probably the best I'm gonna get with the lighting and everything going on. And that's the only way it can look semi-real. So right now I think I'm adding actually the shelves for the bar, or not a bar, the coffee shop, sorry. But I'm adding the shelves because I know once I add the shelves, I think I'm gonna get a better idea of how the outside's gonna match with the coffee shop. It just helped me figure things out better. I don't know. And here's me looking at it. Obviously, it's just always on my phone, but it's because I'm looking for reference pictures that I have. What you can see there. So I'm adding the shelves, and I just know there's a gap in between the shelves. I just started pasting them for some reason, and I want to add one long ways because the reference picture only shows so much, so I have to kind of wing the rest. And I don't know how good I did with my part on the shelf, but I think it's honestly pretty fitting. I mean, no one could really tell it was too off. Here's me eyeballing the shelves alignment. So if you guys notice that it's off or not aligned right, dude, please ignore that. Like, I probably didn't even like second think the alignment. I don't know why I didn't, but these are the type of flaws that I do. But honestly, I don't mind because my levels end up becoming the way they do, and that's my way, which is the way I'm happy with. I feel like if I'm too strict with myself, it feels too similar to anything else. I feel like when I feel like I'm moving freely and not focus on too much, it kind of brings more creativity out of me. So, you know, it did okay. Here's me adding more trees in the back and a little bit of shading to the sidewalk, and then I try to experiment a little, but it wasn't working as good as I wanted to with the white. But I stuck with the black, I think, because that part was at least working pretty okay. Yeah, I was not giving up. I was trying my hardest, but yeah, I was working with the trees, trying to make them cover up any gaps that make it feel flat, you know, so you can't tell that that's just like a small layer. So it looks flat now, but later on I figured out, oh, I have stickers that are literally like grass stickers. Like, you know, I could have just been using those. I don't know why I haven't, but I ended up using those. And though that one I was using is a little too green, so I had another one that was more darker, which I like better for certain sceneries because it's darker and it kind of fades in better, and it's subtle, you know. You could tell this like a lump there. It's not like a bright green. So then I started cooking. I'm like, oh, this is looking pretty good. You could tell it's outside. And this is when I found the sticker again. And I'm like, oh, wait, what if I just make it a flat sticker? Like, would it work as a background? And you can see me experimenting a little. It didn't work, but then I experimented again because it was dark. And I guess I flattened it. I'm like, oh, wait, when I flattened it, it got bright. Like, it was bright, and that's because there's no shading coming in the sticker. So then it became such a good background, dude. Look how invested I am. I am excited. You can't tell, but I am. That background was amazing. I was so happy that I finally got that because I was looking for something that looked like a background, you know, just a background. That's all I wish I had, and it's hard to really get things like that on LittleBigPlanet. So I attached it to a sticker panel thing, put it in the back, copied and pasted a couple times right after, so I can get, like, you know, in case you find any angles that are weird, you can just not notice it's like ending. And yeah, dude, it looked great to me. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was actually so amazing. It just, dude, look how cool. Like, that's so cool to me. Like, having backgrounds that are flat images are so cool to me for some reason. I don't know how to explain it, but it's one of my favorite things to do. And that's why I love building levels, because you get to kind of cheat in certain ways like that. You get to, like, for example, make a background that's like 3 layers, but it makes it look like it's like a whole like city out there, you know? Obviously not in this one, it's a little limited, but you kind of have that imagination where it's like, oh, this is kind of like, you know, tricking a little bit the eyes. And it's not like too harsh on the eyes where you notice the background more than the cafe. I think it does the right trick where it's subtle. Like, you know there's an outside, but you don't really pay too much attention because it looks like what you would see if you're looking outside. So I think I passed on that one. I think I did pretty good. Here's when I didn't like the sidewalk though. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can add a sticker on top, make it look different. So I had that wooden sticker laying around. So I mean, I just decided to use that, and I don't know if it makes too much sense, but I think it fits. I mean, just wood like as the entrance, yeah, looks pretty cool. Here's me taking a picture, kind of embarrassing, but I was gonna post it for Reddit or I think Discord. Yeah, I was gonna post it for Discord, and I sometimes post it in the LittlePlanet groups that are available, like LittlePlanet Union, things like that. And it's always good to hear feedback from people. A lot of people loved it, man. It was really nice to hear, like, so it's like feedback like that. People were sad like I was doing really good, and I'm like, dude, like, thank you. That's the most like effort I put into a level before, and I think it shows, you know. Like, you know, I've done crazy builds before, but like in a span of like 3 weeks, because I had like nothing going on in that 3 weeks. But it didn't take, no, my bad, it took me 3 weeks because I had things to do. But this took me 5 days or 4, I forgot what it was, but it took me a long time, and that's because I basically was willing to put the time and sacrificing time with my girlfriend, which, I mean, it's fine, because I mean, she likes doing her own thing anyways. She'll literally sit and play her Switch while I'm doing this, so it's kind of just our zone out time that I was using. But honestly, like, I try to limit myself from playing too much sometimes, because I know I can get out of hand, and like all I'll do is work, maybe go to the gym, come back, play. So that's not too healthy. I try to limit myself on some days, so that's why it kind of did take me a long time to upload all this, because I was kind of trying to, you know, space out my my activities, if that makes sense. I don't know. But right now I'm trying to duplicate the layer from the window, or the door, I mean, from the floor. I'm trying to see what should be duplicated, what shouldn't be. The trees I just duplicate upside down easily, because you're obviously going to see that from a reflection. But surprisingly, everything in the background, like in the outside view, you wouldn't be able to see if it was flipped. So I'm like, oh, okay, you don't really see any of this. So, I mean, it was cool. I just kind of left it like that. I'm like, it looks a little off, but that's how it would look, so I can't really change it. I could have probably added some clouds and things like that, but I think it kind of would have ruined it, and I don't really have like that type of detail to make clouds. I've seen people who make clouds. That was me trying to add people outside. It did not work. Not one bit. I think it would have looked weird anyways, adding people outside. But I did add a dog, which weirdly enough, it's better. And it spawns in every like 20 seconds. You're gonna see me add it later on. But I think right now I'm adjusting the speed, which was a really important thing I added. I'm glad I added that and didn't forget, because the speed that I was walking in, you would be able to glitch through a lot of things if I had to, like, I don't know. It's just, if you walk fast around the bar, you kind of wouldn't be able to enjoy the scenery as much. Like, you know, you're forced to walk slow, which makes you kind of take your time walking through the bar. You don't see everything like in 3 seconds. I mean, it's a small build, but a lot of detail. So I wanted to kind of make you walk like, you know, it's like a library, or like, you know, the pool. You can't run fast, you know. Which reminds me, I might actually make a pool in my next video. I don't know. It's summertime, so I want to kind of make summer themes. I'm actually gonna make Squid Games, but that's coming later. More on that later. But right now, what I'm making is the level thumbnail, which ended up actually really good, but I struggled with, because surprisingly enough, I couldn't make a good level thumbnail at first. And it took me a while before I could figure out how to make one. I'm trying to find a coffee cup or a coffee thing, whatever, to fit like the logo, but I couldn't find anything, so I just found this that looked pretty, like, you know, aesthetic. It's like a little coconut with like a drink in it. It's not coffee, but you know, I guess it fits. And originally I was just gonna add the text and drink, but I'm like, it doesn't look right, so let me add something to kind of highlight the words so it won't like blend with the background. And I couldn't really change the color of it, so I'm like, okay, brown it is. And the background I ended up blurring, so it kind of fades in a little better. You can see this is the style I'm going for. See, blur the background, and then I kind of just try to make it look like, you know, like a cool picture. I don't know, but it didn't look good. It was going so bad, but the things were there, like everything was there. I just didn't know what was missing, and I realized the littlest thing would help, and that's highlighting the highlighter, basically outlining the highlighter. So the brown part in the back, I thought twisting it or like slanting it would be cool. Did not look cool. So I decided to then later on add these like lighter colored outlines around it. You'll see that in a sec. So it was looking good. It just didn't look as good as I wanted it to at first when I added the coffee thing. So I tried changing the color, and see, that color I liked. So I'm like, okay, but now it looks weird like that. So I realized, okay, I could just outline it, which I'm kind of waiting on that part. But and when I added this part, more like foggy atmosphere in the back, it did help. And the green just did not help. That thing was so ugly. I am glad I didn't stuck with that. But yeah, mocking up the background and keeping, like, you know, fading out the background as well with like the image, it helped a lot. It made everything come together better. Here is when I figured out, oh, that outline killed it. Like, that literally made it so much better. And that's all it needed, really. It's the littlest things you don't realize that make them, like, things come together. Yeah, so then I used that as the picture. Glad I managed to get that out, because dude, I was struggling, and I kind of just tried to get a better view and then name the level, you know, yada yada yada. I just be fidgeting a lot, dude. I have ADHD, I think. I don't even know. I'm not medically checked, but yeah, I was just editing my world after this. This is not even part of the build. I'm just straight up side missioning it. But yeah, I was done with the logo. I kept it up there even. So when you play the game, you actually get a part where it shows the logo. So I actually kept it up there on accident. Like, I didn't think much of it. I just kept it there. And later on, I actually ended up using it to use as an intro of the level. So that was cool. But yeah, I ended up after this, I think I was working on the shells more. And yeah, I added the fan on the window. That was like out of just like looking through stickers and seeing it. I was like, oh, that'd be cool to add. So I added it. But you know, I wanted to make it, you know, look like fitting. So I tried to fit it in there, and it looked badass. I like it so much. I think it's like a little detail that makes it look so cool. Because if it's a coffee shop, I feel like it doesn't make it as cool as a level if it's not active. Like, it has to be like alive, you know. So I then decided to add these little like kind of like blooming like flower, I don't know, it's like, you know, the atmosphere outside. I wanted to add that, and I just want to make the level feel alive, because adding the fan moving, adding the things in the background moving, it'll make it feel like, you know, you're somewhere active. And it's not just like a room, you know? Because if it didn't have the fan like that, I don't think it would make it look as, like, realistic, I guess. But I hope you know what I mean. I'm terrible at wording, dude. I've been stuttering so hard throughout this. I'm not used to talking this long, I'm gonna be honest, but I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm talking about one of my favorite builds, so if you guys sticking around, by the way, till this part, like, you guys are the real ones. Like, you guys are amazing. Here's me actually adding an animal. And this is where the idea came to add a running dog. I was looking through some animals, and a couple of them were pretty good. They were pretty good, but I just didn't really see it working. For example, this one was pretty good, but something about it looked a little off, even when I changed the color of it. And looking back at it, I think I know what the problem was, and then that's that it didn't have shadowing, which is kind of hard to do with a sticker. But yeah, I added a dog in the window, which didn't work because that's like a cat thing. So then I tried to find a cat, and I think think I saw Garfield in there somewhere like that, but I only saw some cats that looked good enough. And then I found that kitty cat that was, it was perfect, but when you shrink it down, for some reason it loses its details and it looks so weird. Yeah, I did not like it one bit. This music is sad, by the way. Wow, I've heard this before in Nintendo somewhere. But anyways, yeah, this cat looks sad as like ever. It looked like it literally just like crashed its server on LittleBigPlanet or something. But I tried to make it bigger. It didn't look right. I'm like, dude, you know what? This ain't cutting it. You're fired. So I think I just deleted it after that. I mean, it would be cool to add something there, but no, it just didn't work. A sticker wouldn't work, and sadly, it couldn't be. I should have added an animal in the coffee shop though. That would have been really cool to have, but sadly, no. Maybe in the next update though, I might. I even had some of these stickers that I thought would work, but literally the cutest kitty cat I found, like, dude, it was the cutest one I saw, and it still didn't work. It lost its details when you zoom out, like, yeah. And I almost kept it in. I just did not like it. I just did not like it. No, I did not like it. I thought it was kind of ruining the build, weirdly. And that's also because the build was kind of aiming for a more realistic, you know, like, it was a different tone, and it just wasn't working. And I'm like, you know what, dude, if it fits later on when I'm finished, it fits. But right now, I think that's not the move. I'm gonna have to go ahead and ask you to leave. But here I'm trying to reuse some of the stickers I had, or not reuse, but use up some of the stickers I saved up. And I didn't use the lights till later. I think I use it now, actually. Wait, I don't know. But right now I'm looking for other stickers that might work. I found a good amount. I didn't get to use all of them because once I got towards the end, the game was getting like wildly filled up. It was like so many stickers, it was absurd. But luckily the level ended up publishing alright. You know, it doesn't lag when you play it. It's just laggy when you're showing this side of the level, which, wow. But yeah, I added a lot of stickers later on, and that LBP sticker I did not like. I tried to work with it to give the area color, and it wasn't the right color to add. I mean, red looks good. I could work with red, but it just didn't look good with this LBP. It looked a little too flat for me. So I ended up scratching that. I did add a lot more later on, I'm telling you. It just all comes together. I mean, the outside was really bad, but look how it's coming along. So, I know it looks kind of weird now. I think I just got the shower right now. That's why my hair looks like that. Jesus Christ, I look out of breath. But, yeah, I started working on the wall, which I was really stalling to get working on. I knew it was gonna be a hard task because adjusting stickers is not that easy, and to adjust them to fit a certain like size is annoying because sometimes they don't come out the right size, and you gotta reshape it, and you gotta do all this, and it gets really annoying. But it's fun because that's the process of building. But let me take a sip of water real quick. Yeah, live, I'm gonna literally take a sip of water. But yeah, again, it was kind of this task I really was hesitant to do. Like right now I'm adding cups. These are supposed to be like a stacked amount of cups, you know, cups you can use. I should have added these later in the build, but I actually ended up scrapping this because it did not look that good. As you can see, the cups are kind of like tilted. It just doesn't look neat, and I didn't like the idea of it, so I scrapped that idea fast. As soon as I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work because it didn't look right. And I still had to add a surrounding around the table, the little area you could sit at. And there was so much that I had to do. I just didn't know yet, and I was really just like, it's that part of the build where you realize that it's gonna get harder. It's not gonna get easier because you have more, and that's something you kind of have to, you know, deal with a lot of times when you're creating something. You know, the further you get into it, the more you realize you're gonna have to do. Like, you know, you get the outline done, and you're like, oh, this is getting like really, like, it's going good, but you realize that outline is only the like kind of the foundation of what's gonna be really like a massive build. You know, it's kind of like a pyramid. you know, you can get the outline from the bottom done, but it's only gonna get harder from there. So, but what would I know? But yeah, so I knew it was gonna get hard, and that's why a lot of times I just kind of stay frozen and don't do much. But you know, it's just me mentally preparing myself for a task that I know I'm gonna like hate. And I need to stop doing that, honestly, because I feel like the sooner you get done with that task, the better. And don't take it from me like don't study the way I create levels. Kind of just take inspiration and like try to do your own thing. Right now I'm making a chalkboard of like, you know how coffee shops sometimes have like a little board like that. It's like an aesthetic thing they have going on with a chalkboard. But I didn't want to add it directly on the material, so I made my own image, so I wouldn't have to add each sticker separately, kind of showing off like the prices. I made one for milk, 25 cents for milk, dude, that's a steal. But I saw this offer today only sign. I loved it and I wanted to include it somehow, but I didn't like how it was kind of at the bottom, so I changed that later on. But yeah, 25 cents for milk, dude, and guess what, 25 cents for cocoa, dude. That coffee shop is banging. Like, I don't know what other coffee shop has it like that. But yeah, I ended up adding these kind of things to it, and then I figured out later on how I'm gonna like include it. But yeah, so I made it a sticker and then I added it. But I wanted to add the for offer today only, and it looked cool like that. I like the way it looks right now, where it's like on the side. It doesn't look too bad like that. But I wanted to add more. Sorry, I'm trying to turn on my fan because it's hot in here. It's Chicago weather. But yeah, I have some arrows pointing at it so people can like notice it. Some casino cards, just something to give it like a vibe to it, you know, not too plain looking. And yeah, I added that, and then obviously you have to have borders around it. It's gonna look a little weird if it's just like that, which I mean, it doesn't look awful, but I would rather it have borders on it. So I added some by kind of copying the board, and then I kind of just like measure what size I want them to look like. Then I just duplicate and then cut the part out that I don't need, and it works. Yeah, there's better methods to this, but for me personally, I thought that was the better one, because I like when the sign has borders and you could see the depth in it. Most people could probably just add like an underlayer to it to make it like outline it, but it's not really, you know, going around it as well. Like, I like it to be known that it's like it has depth. That's what I go for, and I go a little bit, I guess, above and beyond, if you want to say, for certain builds that shouldn't like get that much attention. Like, I shouldn't do too much sometimes, but I end up doing a lot more than I should for certain things, and then I mean, it turns out just as good in any other build. Right now I'm reflecting on the ground because it's little details that you're gonna have to notice that we're gonna reflect. I did end up keeping the LBP sign though, which I like. I wanted to keep it in there somehow because I liked it, but I just didn't know where it would go yet. But I did keep it somewhere near. This is me experimenting. I was gonna make a reflective character up here under, so it would mimic you, so it would look like a full reflective style, but not even PS2 games were replicating that like back in their day. So what makes you think I'm gonna be able to do that, you know? And I know most games can do it, but nah, I can't. I cannot do that. I mean, that's literally, this is me literally building my own like level with like pre-built coding in a way. So this is why it makes LittleBigPlanet a little hard. And dude, props to the people who do like logic and everything like that, dude. They are geniuses. The people who create levels with such advanced logic, like, dude, hats off to you, man. You guys are awesome. But yeah, this is me kind of cheating. I'm kind of just doing this to take a picture and publish it later. So I did that, but that's not actually, that's like a trailer version of a game where it doesn't actually have it, but it's kind of showing you a sneak preview of what you're probably gonna see. So yeah, but yet again, still haven't added the shelf details and anything like that. So here I am showing off a build of a coffee shop that isn't even filled out yet. But to be fair, it looks pretty cool, you know. And then yeah, right now I'm adding the register actually. This register built by me with stickers. I could have, you know, simply used some materials, made a L shape and kind of look like a, but like, you know, you gotta really get in deep and make some things yourself, and it's a risk and time consuming task you gotta put yourself through to really get that build you want. I mean, dude, things like this are in the moment, look at me yawning, like in the moment you're not focused on anything but the build, but when looking back at it, like I could tell I was going through it. Like it's like fun and torture at the same time. I love building, I love creating levels, but I know it's gonna be tedious work, and it's gonna be, you know, putting yourself through a lot of mental like torture, just like thinking, okay, this could probably go here, or this can like fit in the middle. Like, you know, it sounds easy, but dude, I go through so much creating a simple level like this. And honestly, like, once I'm done with a level like this, I take at least a week break from like my mental, like, you know, to like get some creativity back into me, because like after creating this, I was drained. Like I used all my stamina of creativity to create this. And I know most of you might say you could create this in a day, like, props to you. But for me, like, you know, coming back from work and then like again sometimes from the gym, I don't really have like much energy left in me. So I'm surprised I will be able to squeeze in like a couple like even details. So like me having like the energy to make a full like level alone, I'm like happy that I got the chance to actually finally do this. Like, for me, I haven't never created a full level before that worked to the fullest that I wanted to, but something small like this gave me the chance to do that, because I mean, like, I rarely get the chance to be able to create something that feels finished. And now that I have, you know, it's great. I do have a couple levels I did end up making. Like, I had a bungalow house I made. That one was finished. I have other ones that are pretty complete, but nothing came close to how I think well done this one was. Like, this one was very, very like detailed. Like, other levels I used to create were detailed, but to an extent where it was more like I added a lot of materials that made it look detailed. But in reality, I look back at it, I'm like, this isn't necessarily my favorite build, to be honest. But this one is gonna stick with me for years, and I think I'm gonna look back at this and be happy with it, and I'm gonna be like proud of myself for it, and I can learn from it now. Like, it's things like this that I think this is the next step I took to finally improve my work, and that's trying new things that I was scared to do before, like creating my own register, working with Logic, you know, things like that. It's a lot different, man. It's something I feel like really just helped me a lot with my creative self. And, you know, sticking with one reference image isn't easy, because a lot of it you have to figure out yourself. I mean, how do you really know how a cafe works? Like, how do you know what registers are placed? Like, you know, some of these things you gotta know yourself. Like, for example, one mistake I made that I was now probably gonna make you not be able to forget it is, where the heck do the workers get out of the register? Like, I ended up sealing both sides, so they would either have to jump over the counter or jump out the window. I don't know, because there's no other exit through that counter. I was gonna add a door, but it was not gonna look right, so I was just hoping nobody would say anything and use their imagination to think it just opens. So yeah, but right now I'm adding actually the outline of the door again, because that one got messed up for some reason. I don't know how I deleted it. It deleted. I don't know. So I have to fix that real quick. I hate when things like that happen, because like it's like the smallest detail gone missing. I don't understand. It's like random detail like that got missing. You don't know how it happened, because you're so in the zone, you don't notice these little things, you know. I don't even know how long that's been there. I don't even notice it now. But anyways, yeah, so little details like that, man, you get so. Sorry, my mic muted. Dude, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not gonna cut any of this audio out. I'm just gonna start like talking raw cut or raw footage, raw audio. I don't know, because honestly, me going through and cutting footage is better for you guys, because you're probably gonna be like watching this and try to get to the point of me building it. But I'm trying to give you an idea while I'm showing you the footage of how it, like, what it took to build this. But I don't know, it depends really on your creative like style. Like, I've seen some LittleBigPlanet levels, to be fair, I look at it and I'm like, okay, I understand that you're not the most creative person, but wow. And that's not even being mean, that's just being like, I'm just critiquing. You know, it's obviously gonna look a bit rough. You know, it's gonna look a bit rough. And I look at them and I'm like, okay, this is either from a 7-year-old or someone who just got the game and is trying to figure it out. And that's fine. I mean, dude, if you saw how I used to create, I was the exact same way. I literally started off by placing like a star-shaped material and then like cutting it out weirdly and building a house out of it. Like, dude, I was so bad at creating. Like, I actually might make a video of my old creations just so you can see how bad I was at it. and it was only like after a year that I got used to the creating style that I started creating okay levels. I was like, you know, improving slightly, but it only goes like that. It goes every year I get a bigger skill in creating, if that makes sense. But yeah, but I'm gonna need you guys to buckle in, because right now I'm gonna show you a time lapse of me building, and this time lapse is literally 5 hours, dude. 5 hours. I was in go mode. I literally sat down. I said, I'm getting this done today. I am not wasting any more days on this. If I waste any more days, I'm honestly ruining my momentum. Like, I have a video up. I feel like I should publish at least something now, and this is a great build. I really want to take advantage of like uploading it soon, so I try to upload it as soon as possible. Honestly, I don't even care about the views as much. I just want to be able to upload these things as fast as possible. It's just, it gets me a sense of like accomplishment and motivation to keep on going. But yeah, I added books on the shelf. Not sure if coffee shops have that, but you're seeing it now. So yeah, I'm speeding up the footage a lot faster, because dude, 5 hours is crazy to not show, like, you know, a lot faster. Let me know in the comments if I should do a speed build where it's only 4 times the speed, so you guys can really analyze it. But I think this is a good speed to keep it at, because dude, the rest is like, I don't know how much faster I should make it, because at that point it's not really like comprehensible. But yeah, so right now the atmosphere is looking a lot better. Shelves are being filled up finally, and this is probably the last step I added, because I think honestly maybe a good thing I did, because, well, look, right now you can kind of see how hard it is to add stickers on shelves, because not all the times are they gonna align. And LittleBigPlanet has this weird thing where the layer system, if you kind of align it weirdly, it goes over each other, so you can't add stickers wherever freely. Like, you have to kind of align the stickers certain ways, or it's gonna overlap and it's not gonna look as good, because you could tell it's kind of like I guess like cutting through. Like, it just doesn't look good unless you aim it or angle it right. So yeah, I'm looking through seeing what the heck I can fill this shelf up with, because dude, there's only so many I can use. And only like, I mean, like for example, that metal like instrument I just put, that's like not even a coffee thing, but it looks like it. And lotion bottle, I acted like it was like, you know, a cream product or something you can put in your coffee, something. I mean, no one's really gonna tell. It's just something that make it look like it's filled up, you know. So it worked. It looked actually really good. I was trying to find something similar to that earlier on and I couldn't, so I was happy to find that, because I really want something on display that looked like you could like be like, oh, can I get one of these? Yeah, go ahead, bro, like, you do your thing. So like I added that, and I think right now I'm working for the logic on a intro. So this is gonna be the intro, I think. Yep, it is. Yeah. So this is the intro to what's it called, the level. So I'm working on that very soon, I think. Looks a little weird. I was gonna work on it, I think, later on, because I didn't even have the shelves ready. This is me attempting to make some ugly clouds. Like how earlier I mentioned the floor looked a little weird reflecting the sky, but there's nothing there. So I was seeing, hopefully maybe I can make some clouds and, you know, make it look somewhat like that, but it didn't look as good as I wanted it to, so I scratched that idea too. I think it looks fine. I mean, the clouds aren't even as noticeable all the time, and I think my main mistake was I made the clouds too small. Technically the clouds would have been bigger anyways. But anyways, yeah, here's me filling up the shelves as best as possible, and I think I did a pretty decent job. From my reference picture, the shelves were filled up with some random stuff anyways. I couldn't even make out half of the stuff, so I was like, you know, just something that makes it feel alive and like has character to it. So I try to find some animals, which I couldn't really find too many of besides the LittleBigPlanet figurine stuff like that, like, you know, Odd Sock and things like that. So there was only so many I could find, but I did find a good amount. There was some cool stuff like that golden, I guess it's like display. I promise you, I don't know what half of the things were, but again, in the reference picture, you see that said clock there. I really wanted that to be there, so I make sure that was involved. And at first, I didn't want to add it because it looked a bit weird, but then I realized it. Not really. I mean, it's just like a little thermometer thing spinning around, like the heat, but it looks cool. Like, it feels like a cool clock to have, you know. And it's like a little like art piece you would notice. Like, it's a distinctive feature that makes the coffee shop stick out, you know. Like, it can't just look like a regular coffee shop. I feel like things like that make certain builds more unique, and that's adding your personal weirdness to it. Because if it's just an original build, like of a coffee shop, you know, people are gonna look at it and be like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I haven't seen that before, have I? Like, you know, it's ignore that noise I make with the mic. That's when I hit it on accident. It wiggles too much. I don't know how to fix it. I do, but I'm too lazy. Actually, I lied. Let me take some water while this speed run's going. That's good water. I swear it's so hot here. But yeah, right now I'm adding some little details. You can probably notice. It's going good. I think this is where I add the shelf details. Yeah, the shelf details on the wall, on the door here. And this is when I really started feeling the vibe of the coffee shop. I mean, the shelves were halfway, like pretty much filled up. The shelves were pretty much filled up. I think the atmosphere I changed up a little bit later on, so it doesn't look the same. But dude, everything was just coming together. I was falling in love with it. I was cooking. I started realizing where things needed to go. I loved it. I mean, everything was blending in so well. And the only issue I was having now, once I filled up the shelf, was realizing how empty the middle of the floor was. Like, yeah, there's like the bar type thing area, and then there's like, you know, and I didn't know what to fill up there. I didn't know what to put in that gap. I knew something should go there. I just didn't know what. But yeah, I was trying to figure out so many things, but everything was coming together, so I knew I had it. It's like you have all the pieces there, you just now need to build the puzzle. So the puzzle was like halfway through, I guess, and I was cooking it up in there. Like, the kitchen was steaming because I was cooking. So yeah, right now I'm adding every little detail I can find. I really like that I added that ukulele lady there because it was a cool little touch that I ended up like zooming in on when I was doing the intro. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to add here, and it was kind of, you know, a annoying task because I kept trying to figure out what looks good in the middle, and I tried my hardest to find out, but I couldn't for the life of me find a coffee shop that had a similar build like this. So I just had to end up making whatever I could, like off the top of my head, which was just another like big table that people could sit on, you know. And originally I was gonna make like pillars so people can like divide themselves, but because I've been to this one coffee shop, it's actually really good. Oh right, I added a picture frame there. Nice. Yeah, I added a picture frame here. I used this material that's really thick looking, so it's a flat layer, but it looks really like it has a thickness to it that's really good for things like this. So I added this picture of a crying, I don't even know what that is. And yeah, I just have a bunch of meme stickers, and I decided to add that one because I'm like, you know what, dude, why not? This is my coffee shop. But yeah, you can already feel the atmosphere is coming together. Like, this is going great. I am so happy with it. And here I try to add a sink. Now I'm missing right now the second bar table or coffee table, and a area they use to work in, and 2 NPCs are missing. You know, there's some stuff still left to add, but we're really getting close to the end. And right now I think I try to make a sink, but then I realized it looks a little dirty. And I mean, obviously a sink is gonna look dirty, I mean, half the time when you're cleaning, but I don't want that for a coffee shop. I want it to look kind of clean, and it didn't look good with the white, and I knew something was just off, and I decided to scrap that because the sink looked a little too realistic on that area, which is like, you know, I'm aiming for realism, but if you have something that looks slightly less realistic and you put it next to a really realistic item, it might kind of throw it off. So I scrapped that idea. I just didn't like it. And I think I was focused on the table because the table's there now. I was checking out if it looks good with the white, and it did not, safe to say. So I had to figure out what to add or what to change to make it look, you know, like an area they can work in. But I stuck with the white just so I can, you know, get the layout first, and then I'll change the colors, which I shouldn't have done that. I should have changed the color first. But, you know, I learned this is a good thing. I learned a lot during this because it's been so long since I had a mega build like this, where it's not really mega, but it's a mega build, if that makes sense. You know, it's a lot going on. And you know, Honestly, I might stick to smaller builds, or I guess this is a small build, but I might stick to more simplistic builds, like things that require less detail but more, you know, knowledge of how things go. Like when I build a house, you know, you don't have to put little details everywhere. You kind of just have to fill in the gaps that fit right. This is mainly, the purpose is to have a filled coffee shop, you know, that feels like it's really just there, you know. I don't know. And you know, it's hard to explain, but you know, it's surprisingly one of my hardest builds somehow. I can't explain it, but it is. And I don't know if it maybe was the heat that's been going on lately with the summer or anything, but yeah, I changed the color of the counters there where you work at, and now I'm adding one in the middle. And that's when I started realizing that doesn't look half bad at all, like at all. Like that actually might be what I've been needed to add. I just need to know how to implement it right so it doesn't look kind of just there. And I mean, I didn't really change up too much later on. I think I kept it pretty much the same, but it looked pretty good once I finished it. I mean, it's just a table, you know, like a table with a thick bottom holding it, like nothing crazy. And then sometimes that's all you need, nothing crazy, you know, just add something simplistic, see how it looks, and if it works, you know. Because I was originally gonna add like a glass table, maybe a small little tables people can sit on, but I just didn't like that idea. I thought it was weird. I don't know why. It just didn't feel right for the place. So this one stuck for me, and then I had to have the chairs had to adjust them because they were kind of aiming the wrong way when you sit on them. So I kind of had to do a lot of maneuvering, dude. Having to go through these, oh my god, what a pain. I'm so glad I got this over with. Here's when I'm adding the pillar, and that didn't work. That pillar looked awful. I'm glad I scrapped that idea too. But the pillar was gonna go there as a way of support the base. Here I'm adding these tubes. It's like kind of what are they called? They're the studio lights, but they're like more for like subtle lights. They're not studio lights as much, but I was adding those, and that was probably my favorite part. That really made it come together when I added those. And let me actually show you. So yeah, I gotta slow down the footage because I was going a bit fast, but basically that's when I started adding lights, and that's what changed it up all the way. The lights I knew were the last part because I can focus on the details, but once I add the light, things could change. So I added the lights last because I knew I would be able to adjust them the way I wanted to with everything around. And dude, it looks so beautiful. I love the lights. It made me so happy. I knew something was missing too, and I know it was either the lights or something. I don't know, but I knew something was missing. I wasn't stressing about it because I knew I was gonna end up coming across, like I was gonna come across it at some point. But the lights, bro, oh my god, they were so gorgeous. It's like my favorite part of this. And I'm actually gonna make a separate level where you can customize your character in the bar, so that's gonna be like its own thing. So I'm gonna update that later. But yeah, this is pretty much where I was cooked. Like my brain was fried. I was about done. Everything came together. There's only a few things missing. That's a trash can, because that corner is empty as like ever. It's more emptier than my wallet right now, but I don't know why I mentioned that. But basically I knew I needed to add something like a trash can, and I kind of wish I added like maybe plants there too, but next to a trash can is kind of weird now that I think about it, so maybe it's good I didn't add that. But yeah, this surprisingly took long too for a trash can, which is weird. Trash can is like kind of the simplest thing to build, in my opinion, like me personally. But this somehow took me a lot longer than I expected, so like weird. But I mean, it's you know, unexpected. The things that took me the longest are the simplest things, kind of. But it's because then you like they're simple, so then you don't know how to execute it, I guess. Because then I'm like, okay, I could just add these two thin sides to make the, you know. So I wanted to make it look like you could put trash in there, but I'm like, there's just so many more simpler ways to do this, so I decided to scrap it. But yeah, I kept the trash can though. But yeah, I made some trash cans, and let me actually speed this part up a bit. Alright, boom, zoom, skip past that. yeah, but then I'm basically, not gonna lie, done. Little details come after this, you know, add some plates, food, things like that, little things just to come together. But the main thing I wanted to mention was towards the end, which I'm gonna make a level separate to this, coming like very soon, right after this video possibly. I'm gonna make a customization level where you can customize your character in the coffee shop, so then you can just relax, be there, and then like enjoy the scenery, but then customize your character. But I was gonna try attempt it to add this in the level, but it was not working out. It didn't work out, so that part I had to scrap, which was a bummer because that was actually a really exciting plan I had till I realized it wasn't gonna work. But yeah, I added some plates around the kitchen, some metal like engines, replicate like a coffee machine. It worked. I mean, it worked. You wouldn't be able to really tell what it is unless I told you. And if you knew what it was, you could use your imagination to kind of make it think it is. But dude, honestly, I was just happy at the end that I got this like far with it. Like, dude, what a build. You know, like it might look simple. Like I feel like there's a lot of people that probably would be able to pull this off, but for me, pulling it off is an accomplishment. And I don't care what you say, and unless it's positive stuff, but I don't, if you have anything negative to say it if you want, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to be proud of this. Any critique you have on it, I will take it and not take it personally, but at the end, I'm always going to have that thought that, you know, I made this and I'm happy with it. And if you think maybe some things could be changed, I'll probably change it, because at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. I might think something is perfect, but doesn't mean it is. And I'm always willing to change things to appeal to others, because I know their minds are no less than mine. So I'm thinking, why not change it to someone's liking? You know, when you try to make something, you don't make it for yourself all the time. You kind of make it for others. And I would be lying to you if I said I didn't make this to try to please people. Like, there's no way I made this for myself to look at. I obviously made it for people to look at and like, and luckily they did like it. But if they have anything to say about it, I'm gonna take the critique as nice as possible. Some people could say it's straight up trash. I'm gonna be like, well, let me see what I can do in the next one that might change their mind. But for this one, I did my best. What can I say? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's gonna be people who are saying, like, they're gonna say something is bad, but one thing you do gotta think to yourself is, if they're critiquing you, can they do it better, or do they just want you to do it better? You know, like, you gotta really think about that, because I mean, you can call it trash, but to me it's good. So what does that mean? Like, are you the liar or am I the liar? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I put in hours to this, so I damn well I'm gonna call it perfect. But yeah, that's just, I guess, the mindset I got towards it. But yeah, I mean, everything looked perfect. I'm in love with it. It's probably this Wii music, dude, like for background noise, perfect timing, I guess, because it's kind of like easing into like the final build of it. But yeah, here's me adding that computer girl. It was actually supposed to be my girlfriend sitting there, but I forgot to add her red hair because I was so zoned in on making everything else work that I just forgot to change that. So I'm gonna add that on the next update, actually. But yeah, I hope you guys really like this build, dude. It's like my favorite build. I probably mentioned that like 50 times already. Shout out to you guys if you made it to this part, though. If you guys are like actually like still sticking around, like, what an awesome bunch of people you are, man. Props to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again, I don't do this for the views. I have a second channel, mainly, I guess it's my main channel. I have a main channel where I mainly upload a different category of gaming, and that one's like my more, I guess you could say, popular channel. So this one's more my channel of releasing just my creative LittleBigPlanet ideas, and hopefully later on restitched gaming videos and so on. But yeah, like, I'm not doing this channel to like get monetized or anything, or like gain a, well, hopefully I can get a fan base. That'll be pretty cool, because then, you know, who wouldn't want to be part of a community of LittleBigPlanet? But yeah, no, I'm not doing this for any reason more than just trying to share my creativity with guys like you guys, and like, I don't know, just kind of like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess just like well, because you guys play LittleBigPlanet. Obviously, if you're watching this, you either play LittleBigPlanet or you've heard of LittleBigPlanet, or you might be new to LittleBigPlanet. So I'm hoping to just kind of like guide you into how to create either 1, levels, or start creating levels, or 3, just get the idea of how levels are made. You know, so hopefully this video brought you some kind of knowledge. But again, I'm not doing this for any other reason besides just trying to expand my knowledge to the community and expand yours. You know, it's a community. You know, LittlePlanet's not as popular as it used to be, sadly, and although, you know, I did kind of move on for a while, it was always in my mind that I want to create levels, and I couldn't for a while till now, which I'm so thankful that I can now, because it's one of my favorite things to do on my free time. Before then, I was playing ranked matches on fighting games, which is not a good way to spend your free time, I'll tell you that much. It causes so much stress, but this is a stress reliever, I'm telling you, at sometimes. But yeah, thank you again for watching, guys. If you like stuck around, I have no words. I really don't. I don't know what to do. But I also would be lying if I didn't say I am trying to, you know, grow this channel, obviously. But I'm trying to make it like clear. It's not for money. It's not for anything besides just wanting you guys to like be able to share with me your creations, me being able to share my creations, and just, you know, be a part of the community. I want to be known in the community. Yeah. Like, you know, there's YouTubers like LittleBigPlanet3, something like that. I actually forget the name easily, but there's a lot of YouTubers out there that inspired me to start making more videos than before. And at first I was just gonna upload videos with no commentary, no nothing, but then you don't get attached as much with that. If I just uploaded videos of like levels, like certain YouTubers can do that, but you don't get as attached to the creator or like get to communicate as much with them if it's just that. Yeah, this is getting pretty close to the end. I think near this part I'm adding, you see that girl, my girlfriend, using the computer. That was actually a really cool thing I added last minute. I was like, I wonder if I can make a laptop, and surprised I did. I mean, it was a really, you know, low quality one, like I guess you would say low poly, which I love that term. I don't know why. Things like that, like if I had a real engine to create games, which I could, Unreal Engine exists, but I don't have the knowledge of Unreal Engine like I do in LittleBigPlanet. So this is like my alternative, because, or not my alternative, my main source, because I'm like, that's how, like the only thing I'm really good with creating wise. Like if games or like creating games for this like method, I would be killing it though. No limits, just straight up like, oh dude, awesome. But yeah, you know, you work with what you got, and I don't mind using LittleBigPlanet. I mean, I like the style a lot, and Restitch is gonna come out soon, so that style is gonna be pretty interesting to use. So yeah, I got a lot of exciting things coming up in the future, and I'm really excited to start releasing more footage of me creating levels like this. Let me know if you guys want it to be longer, shorter, whatever you guys like. I'll work with it. I mean, this is just my test trial to see what I should do next time. Maybe a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, who knows. I think we're cutting it to an hour long, or is this only 14 minutes long? I think it might only be like 14 minutes long, so that's not bad. But yeah, honestly, wait, is that a 1 right there? Oh my god, we've been recording for 1 hour? Who's we? It's been all me. No, I'm just kidding. But oh my god, it has been 1 hour. Dude, you're sticking around to this? You're probably asleep though. Okay, anyways, imagine you wake up mid through your nap, like it's like 5 a.m. and you wake up and you just hear me talking to you right now. You see the TV you're watching right now? You see this bar? It's badass, right? Okay, anyways, dude, look at this bar. It's finished. Like, we got here. You guys started from 0 and now we're at 100. So yeah, it's going good. You know, bar look great. Dude, my English is getting worse and worse by the minute. I like literally have brain rot speaking. But yeah, the bar is almost basically finished. I just think I had to add something else, and it's a very small detail. I forgot what it was, but yeah, bar is basically, or coffee shop is basically on its end. I'm gonna cut it here basically for you guys, so you can now see the finished product. You can watch my my finished product video here. It's gonna be displayed above, but I'm gonna show it off here at the end too for the people who stuck around to the end. But yeah, thank you guys again for sticking through, and if you skipped all the way towards the end to just see the finished product, you're not evil, but you know what you are. I'm just kidding. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching this video if you did. It's raining right now where I'm at, so that's actually kind of nice to hear in the background. Watching this whole thing come together, dude, it was a lot. But I've basically been yapping for an hour, so let's look at the finished product now. Oh yeah, I'm talking over this, I'm sorry. I uploaded the video alone without as much commentary, so you can view it like I'm actually gonna do a 1 hour time lapse of just me sitting at the bar, so that should be cool. But yeah, this is the scenery or the camera angles I created. You can see it, like, it transitions very smooth. I like the way it all came together when transitioning. Here I added a little crossfade to the person at the counter while they're making the coffee. That man is stoned. But yeah, right now it just pans over very seamlessly. I like the lighting changing over time as like it changes over very slightly. And yeah, it all just really comes together very nicely. I like it a lot. It's beautiful to walk around in, especially, and just relax, you know, enjoy the scenery. Like, it's not a crazy level. You don't get to do parkour or anything like that, unfortunately, but you know, a lot of levels like these don't really come often in LittleBigPlanet, so I'm kind of happy I was one of the people who create a relaxing level for people who enjoy these kind of things. But thank you guys so much for watching again. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.